everyone, it's Crystal McGregor here from Tech Ready Women, and I am here today with Nandita Maharaj from Goods for Good. How are you, Nandita?
I'm really good. How are you?
Great. Wonderful to be chatting with you today. We're going to jump straight into it. Tell me what Goods for Good is. What's your elevator pitch?
So my elevator pitch, I've got it down to very short few words. It's basically people who want to buy from companies that do good and connecting them with companies that are doing good. So it's pretty straightforward, but the longer one is, there's so many social enterprises here in Australia that are businesses for good. They sell amazing products and the quality of these products are great, but the impact they create in terms of social and environmental is huge. So I thought, why aren't people buying from that? So that's where Goods for Good is from.
That's so good. And tell me, how did you come up with the idea?
So I spent the last 4 years of my career working for a social enterprise where for every plate they sold, they donated a plate. And I went in as a marketer because I'm a marketer with a marketing background. And so I saw someone selling the product in a restaurant all the way to someone eating the meal we donate. So I got to see the full chain of events. And I thought just one determined social enterprise can create such a huge impact. Imagine if everyone started buying from social enterprises. Imagine the impact that that would create.
Yeah, that's really nice. And so what were you doing before this?
Yes, I was working for a quick service restaurant chain where every meal we sold, we donated a plate. But I moved from the marketing part of it to the social enterprise part of it, where I packed millions of meals around Australia, put them on shipping containers, unpacked the shipping container, worked with NGOs and cooked the meals and fed the meals. So I also took teams out to these countries where they were living in extreme poverty, the whole education process around it, also learning how you can actually end up sometimes hurting people that you're trying to help. Mm-hmm. So learning the intricacies of those things.
What were the main challenges before starting with Tech Ready Women?
So I did have a huge challenge. So when I was working in that space, I always thought of a platform where people could transact with the thousands of social enterprises that are in Australia. And my biggest thing was it just seemed like too big a task. I talked about it, but getting to it and actually doing it just seemed like too hard a path. And I didn't have the tools to help me get there. So that was the biggest challenge, to actually make a start, because it was just so daunting.
So you had the idea and then you were accepted into Tech Ready Women. Tell me about the process and what you learnt during that time.
So I love a structured process of doing what I need to get done. And Tech Ready Women provided me with that structured process. I knew I had an idea, and where I started to where I landed was actually quite different. And the whole process made me really challenge myself, question all my assumptions, try and test all my assumptions, see if really define who my customers were. So the whole process gave me a structured approach to my launch date, and I actually knew when the program would finish, and I set a launch date. I had 1st November in my head, and I'm like, if I'm not going to do it then, I'll keep talking about it. So I went through the program. It challenged me. I started somewhere else. I landed on the other side with a more refined concept, and then I launched on 1st of November.
Ah, brilliant. How did it go?
It was so exciting. I remember the first phone call I made to have a social enterprise on my platform. And I remember talking to my mentors at Tech Ready Women saying, oh, but I don't even have a website. Who's going to want to work with me? So there's all these doubts. And so I remember talking to Christy, and she's like, okay, so you're selling their products, you're championing them. Why wouldn't anyone want to work with you? And I'm like, okay, going to make my first phone call. And the person, I kept trying to sell myself, and she was like, yeah, of course I'd love to work with you. And that was just amazing. So yeah, that was such a highlight for me.
Oh, so good. And so what's happened since?
Since then, I've now got 14 companies, 14 different social enterprises on my website. And each one is just so amazing and so special. I decided to encourage people to buy according to their values. And that's a really different way of setting up your website. And I have to say, I'm still learning the whole startup ecosystem, learning the ins and outs of it. It's going to take a while. So although I had a great start, I still have a long way to go. And so, yeah, I've got 14 amazing social enterprises. They are from supporting homelessness, mental health, the environment, looking at the United Nations development goals. So it's just rewarding. It's amazing to work with them. And now my challenge is to really get Goods for Good name out there and just keep learning. There's so much to learn.
Yeah, I think we can all appreciate that as entrepreneurs. It doesn't end, it just continues. And that's really great traction since November to have 14 already. So fantastic to see. So as a woman in tech entrepreneurship, what barriers have you had to overcome?
The barriers when the networks, knowing where to go for help, what are the right places to go for grants, what are the relevant grants, if you should go for grants, at what point you should go for grants. But then when you do go through a structured approach like that, the resources that you've got access to is, there's so many, and you can pick and choose what is relevant for you.
Yeah, great. And so big brag moment. Have you got any wins you can share with us?
Yes, I got a 1-year space with the Hub Australia. I get to use their office space for a year, and I get all these networking opportunities through them. The other big win is, I've had my first customer that is not my family or friend. So exciting when an order comes through, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't know this person. It's not my customer.
That brings me to my next question. What is next for you in the business?
So next for me in the business is, I think I need to refine my concept still further. Launched on 1st November. It was a minimum viable product, and it is now time to refine my website. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles, so I need to have another look at it, put better categories around it. So just working on the product itself and just looking at new markets.
Do you have an ask for our Tech Ready Women community?
I will be putting together my corporate offering, and I'd love to have feedback on it, because I know there's so many people out there who are, starting their own business but have come from large corporates. So it'll be great to get feedback on it, and more networking opportunities and introductions. If I get introduced to the person in your company that does corporate boxes, or that does buy presents for someone in the office, why not make it a present that has an impact and helps society and is a present for good? So if I could get this kind of introductions, that would be amazing.
Wonderful. And it was wonderful speaking with you today. Thank you so much for taking the time, and we look forward to seeing all the next wins for Goods for Good.
Thank you so much. Thanks for your time, and thank you so much for Tech Ready Women. If I hadn't done that, I wouldn't be here. So
amazing.
Brilliant.